Quite the cold weather pattern as we start the week, and I think this type of setup keeps things active across North America with more storms moving into the Pacific Northwest. A couple of them could get strong as we head through the week, depending on how all these dynamics come together. We're going to take a look at what's ahead as we move toward the end of the week. I think we're going to watch a pretty decent piece of energy move into the west. This is going to bring some wind, rain, and some snow, also into parts of Alberta, further to the north into British Columbia. Across the east, we're warming up. However, an interesting low just to the north of Maine, up here into parts of eastern Canada, starts to spin up with another cold shot of air moving into this region. Another piece of energy dropping into parts of the plains with another cold shot of air. This is where the models get different. The overnight GFS is trying to blow up some kind of storm in the east. The early morning GFS does this weird thing with snow down into the mid-Atlantic. I think that's an outlier, but the pattern is charged. Even though I think overall the trend will be for things to get warmer in the east, there will be chances for winter-like weather, and we'll get colder and I think snowier across the west with this type of setup. This is a quick look at the early morning GFS run. I want to show you where we are right now. We'll take you through the next couple of days. There's the cold, the lake effect snow, the snow showers across the Appalachians and downwind of the Great Lakes. That continues into Tuesday across the Northeast. Otherwise, look how quiet it is from the western prairies of Canada all the way down into the southeastern United States. Beautiful conditions, warm weather too, starting to build back north. Now here comes the next storm across the west, bringing wind, rain, and snow to the Cascades and down into the Sierra. This rain and snow could be heavy at times, and this begins to push east. So we'll see the snow pick up from the northern Rockies into the Canadian Rockies. Some of that tries to spill east as some cold air tries to push down this side of the Rockies into Alberta, Saskatchewan, a little bit of light snow, and that brings moisture also into the Four Corners state with rain and snow picking up across Arizona, New Mexico, even into parts of Utah, and that tries to move east into Texas. At least it tries on the GFS. I want to show you where this morning run came in. From this point forward, I think the confidence is just too low, but look what the GFS is doing. Yesterday, it was trying to show a northeast snowstorm. Overnight, not nearly as strong. Actually, this is early morning. The overnight run, it was strong, but it looked significantly different. So you can see run to run, everything is looking quite a bit different. This was the late evening run yesterday. One heck of a storm. So I think you got to watch this time frame. And the early morning GFS tries to do this weird thing here into Virginia and North Carolina around the 20th. That's a long way down the road. I don't believe any of that at this point. I don't have to tell you it's cold. Temperatures today, I just want to give you some context to how cold it's going to be. Atlanta, we may rival nearly 30 degrees below average as we head into this afternoon. Notice all the pinks and purples? That's close to 25 to more than 30 degrees below average with your temperature at this particular time of day. That cold air continues, or at least the cold core of air pushes all the way into the southeast. And here's the thing. You're not going to escape the cold all the way into the deep south, even Florida, 20 to nearly 30 degrees below average. We will see changes, though, as we head into Wednesday and Thursday. You'll start to notice this at least closer to average, with temperatures climbing way above average across the central states. In fact, we may be close to 20 degrees above average, close to places today where we are seeing snow flying. Here's a closer look at the snow. That wind and lake effect snow will continue off of Lake Michigan. It'll start to curve a little bit more to the east towards South Bend, and then we're bringing this cold pocket of air across the Appalachians, which will increase that snow that we're seeing here today, especially into the Smokies, into parts of West Virginia, Southwest Virginia. That snow will pick up heading into the afternoon and evening hours as this coldest pocket of air aloft moves through. That snow could get heavy into the West Virginia mountains, also downwind of Lake Huron and Lake Erie, snow showers going, and then I want to let you see this really quickly. I don't think it's going to be much, but there could be a little bit of light snow overnight into early Tuesday morning for parts of Southside and maybe even the Tidewater of Virginia as this coldest pocket of air moves across this region directly. A few flurries try to spill down into New York City. I don't think we see much, maybe more clouds than anything, and then more light rain and snow showers into the northeast as high pressure keeps things dry across the southeast, with maybe a few showers trying to work back north along a warm front from the Great Lakes down in toward the Virginias. Here's a look at your temperatures this afternoon. We showed you how cold they're going to be below average. Highs in the 30s and 20s in many areas. Overnight lows dropping into the teens and 20s. A bone-chilling night tonight. And then a little bit milder tomorrow. You can see the warm air trying to move further to the north and east. We start to see lows dropping just back into the 30s opposed to the teens and 20s. And highs get close to 50 here across central Illinois. Even into Virginia, we're back up into the 60s in North Carolina. Close to 70 anyway for Atlanta. How much more snow is on the way on top of what you've already got? Well, here's an idea. This lake effect snow, these are always tough to forecast. I think the models did a pretty good job. However, I would say maybe specifically in downtown Chicago, not as much snow, but you get south of town, we picked up quite a bit, and there's more on the way too, and we'll start to see that lake effect snow settle down across this region. More snow on the way today across the Cumberland Plateau. Look at the time above my head. You can track out when this is going to fall. Some of this slowly through the evening into tonight into the mountains of West Virginia. Again, the highest will be here into the northeastern mountains. Downwind of Lake Erie, Lake Huron, a little bit of light snow going here. Some of that could get heavy, though, just downwind of Lake Erie from northeast Ohio, Ashtabula County, north to Erie, all the way up to Buffalo. But the snow really off of Lake Ontario is going to be coming out of the northwest. So your snow totals aren't going to be huge across the Tug Hill Plateau like you might see with that long fetch. Not on this type of setup, although there will be some lake effect snow with heavier snow falling north into Canada with this type of setup over the next 24 to 48 hours. Cold high pressure moving to the south and east. Winds turn back to the southwest out ahead of our next trough, which will start to swing into the west. So temperatures back here on the way up. We'll be in the 60s today, east of the mountains into Montana, all the way down into Texas. Overnight lows not nearly as cold tonight, and then as we head into tomorrow, warmer weather on the way. Beautiful conditions across Oklahoma up to Kansas. We'll be back into the 60s, and that warm weather expands further to the east. Arkansas, Missouri, into Tennessee. Nice weather on the way, and even further north where it's sub-freezing, we're back into the 40s. Further west, this is where things get pretty exciting, I think. Not in maybe in a good way, but definitely actionable. We're going to see some wind, rain, and snow moving into Northern California. These snow levels are going to drop. This could be another round of heavy snow into the Sierra, north into the Cascades. This bowling ball of cold air starts to cut off a little bit, or at least it tries to on the European, and drop into the far southwest. This has been kind of persistent. This is the GFS, by the way. I want to show you the European. It also has this cold air cutoff. It's a little bit further to the south. Either way, it looks like some pretty active weather across the west. And then we'll see more rain and snow into British Columbia and into the Pacific Northwest heading into Monday. And some of the snow up into this region could get quite heavy. Here's a look at your temperatures today. Pretty mild. In fact, we're going to stay relatively warm across the west ahead of this next system. Another warm day tomorrow. Tuesday may be warmer than what we're even going to see today. And then into Wednesday.